Welcome to the SVG-TV Evening News and Sports for Wednesday, December 4th, 2013. I'm KAHLIL with the details. Yet another important piece of crime-fighting legislation received unanimous bipartisan support and was adopted by Parliament. Monday saw the successful passage of the Witness Special Measures Act 2013, and on Tuesday, a similar position was taken on the 2013 Proceeds of Crime Bill, which went through all stages and passed. Speaking specifically to civil recovery, which is the new dimension of the bill, Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves says though civil recovery is relatively new to the Caribbean, it has been used as a tool for fighting serious crimes in the international community for well over a decade.
The United States of America, which respects private property, has had civil forfeiture since the 1970s, and it has been upheld as being constitutional. There is increasingly a body of expert opinion from around the world holding the view that in rem actions are in many circumstances the most effective way to counter corruption, economic crime, and other forms of transnational crime. This bill gives our country an additional powerful tool to help fight back against serious criminals who have managed to avoid criminal prosecution, and as important, where they have fueled violence and the death of people.
Prime Minister Gonsalves says the new amendment and the bill as a whole will send a strong message to those involved in criminal activities, specifically money laundering and the drug trade.
So, depriving these persons of what we would all say would be their ill-gotten gains will send a message that we in this Parliament, and I'm hoping that we have a unanimous support on this, that we will not tolerate this kind of activity taking place in our country and stirring up the kind of problems.
And lawyer and opposition Senator Dr. Linton, in making his contribution to the debate of the Proceeds of Crime Bill 2013, says the new bill may not be very different from the 2001 Act.
Except, Mr. Speaker, that it is introduced into the Proceeds of Crime law a totally different approach to the way in which we have dealt with money laundering issues in the past, and that is civil recovery of proceeds of crime. Mr. Speaker, it's interesting also to note that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, of all the crimes that are reported, I don't think I've ever seen at any time in excess of 6% of those crimes directly related to drug trafficking. Just 5% for some time, and it went to 6% some years ago. So in truth and in fact, we seem not to have that many reports relating to drug trafficking as compared with the overall criminal reports.
SVG has maintained its position on the German-based Transparency International Corruption Index. The latest figures released show SVG remaining at 63, holding a rank of 33, the same as last year. Barbados heads the CARICOM countries on the Corruption Perception Index that ranks countries based on how corrupt their public sector is perceived to be. Transparency International has ranked Barbados 15th out of 173 countries with a score of 75, down one place from the 2012 figure of 76. The Bahamas and St. Lucia are ranked at 22nd, the second best for regional countries, with a score of 77, also the same as 2012. Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago both had a ranking of 38, but while Kingston's score remained at 38, as it had been in 2012, Port of Spain slipped down 1 point. Transparency International did not provide figures for St. Kitts Nevis, Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, and Belize. Transparency International says that a country's score indicates the perceived level of public sector corruption on a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 means that a country is perceived as highly corrupt and 100 means it is perceived as very clean. A country's rank indicates its position relative to the other countries and territories included in the index. This year's index includes 177 countries and territories. Transparency International said that the world urgently needs a renewed effort to crack down on money laundering, clean up political finance, pursue the return of stolen assets, and build more public transportation institutions. The St. Vincent Brewery Limited, Correa's Hazels Incorporated, and Pasta Enterprises Limited today struck gold after being named as the first 3 recipients of the Customs Gold Card program. Senior Assistant Comptroller Erwina Phillips outlined that as successful Gold Card members, the 3 companies have proven to be excellent, compliant, and reliant customers over the years. Comptroller of the Customs and Excise Department, Grenville John, said the companies will now be able to benefit from the quickest possible release of their consignments from the Customs.
A lot can improve in your business performance once you obtain your goods in the quickest possible time. Secondly, Customs will be less intrusive when dealing with the consignment of gold card holders. Gold card holders' consignment will not be routinely examined. In business, time is of the essence, and we have recognized this. The gold card holder would enjoy an improved status when compared to other business entities.
John added that the new system calls for a more coherent relationship between Customs and the business trade community, as well as greater cooperation between all stakeholders.
The modernization of Customs should not be seen in a vacuum. It is important that as Customs modernize, our key stakeholders also modernize. If the processes and systems and procedures at Customs are simplified and allow for quick clearance of goods, but there are bottlenecks in the operations of the other key players, then St. Vincent and the Grenadines will still be ranked low when it comes to trade facilitation.
Here's an early reminder that from this coming Monday, the SVG-TV evening news will begin at 6:45. When we come back to the local scene, we hear that a call is being made for Vincentians to support Typhoon Haiyan victims. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the evening news. Vincentians are now being called on to lend financial support to the victims of Typhoon Haiyan, which recently devastated the Philippines. Speaking earlier today at the launch of the appeal in Kingstown, President of the SVG Red Cross Society, Bernard Morgan, says the International Red Cross and Red Crescent, along with the Philippines Red Cross, have asked the SVG Red Cross Society to make an appeal to Vincentians to generate further assistance for the typhoon victims.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have been affected by natural phenomena in the past. And governments throughout the world, and indeed communities throughout the world, they have rendered assistance. Whether it was in 1979 when we had the volcanic eruptions, or as recent as 2010 when we had the passage of Hurricane Thomas. So indeed, when we have these events, we are really our brother's keepers. And I think this is a very important principle. And I know the Vincentian community, they are very sensitive to the needs of people and the suffering of people, whether it be in the Caribbean or indeed any part of the world.
Morgan also says it is important for Vincentians to remember that the Philippines is a very special friend of this country, explaining that over the years the Philippines has contributed significantly to the development of SVG in many ways.
In providing us with doctors, medical doctors, in providing us with engineers, providing us with nurses, business people, and some of them stayed, they remain with us, and are very integrated in our communities. And as citizens, we are happy to have them. And in their time of need, I know the Vincentian public would contribute generously to this humanitarian cause.
Meanwhile, Treasurer of the SVG Red Cross Society, Julia Simmons, says as of Friday, December 6th, persons can make cash donations to the Typhoon Haiyan Disaster Fund account at the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
If you can't remember the name, just ask for the Typhoon account. At least that would be the first name that most persons would be familiar with and can remember. And they would be able to issue your funds into that account, put your funds into that account. We're looking for strictly cash donations because shipping to the Philippines is impossible at this point. There is no storage there. To get to the Philippines, the shipping and logistics is ridiculously impossible at this point in time. Persons have actually already tried internationally to send teddy bears they've purchased and little items for children, and they have to in some cases throw them out because they cannot take them to the Philippines, and when they get there, there is no storage.
And Dr. Lorna Vergara, a member of the Filipino community of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, says a number of activities will also be staged to generate funds to be sent to the Philippines, including a Walk for the Cause event.
To start with, we are trying to spearhead a fundraising in terms of a Walk for a Cause. This is actually a walk, and in this we are trying to see if we can sell some T-shirts for as a form of donation to our fundraising. Now, aside from this, we are also trying to do a fundraising in terms of a food festival, which we're trying to showcase our local Filipino food and maybe a Vincentian food. We are also trying to see if we can. This will be our long-term plan because this is a continuous effort, this is a continuous campaign. So we're also trying to see if we can actually do some fundraising in terms of cultural presentations and so on.
Last Saturday, 38 Vincentians graduated from a 20-week entrepreneurship course held by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. This is the second part of the Savings and Investment course and has been developed as a guide for persons interested in understanding the fundamentals of operating a successful small business. One of the objectives is to inspire more persons to consider entrepreneurship as a possible goal and promote best business practices among small businesses. In delivering the feature address at the graduation ceremony, Managing Director of Stewart Engineering Limited, Glenford Stewart, encouraged the participants, the graduates that is, to use innovative approaches to attract funding for the startup and expansion of their businesses. An engineer by profession, Stewart indicated that being an entrepreneur has its challenges, but also its rewards, including that of financial independence. To date, almost 400 Vincentians have participated in both parts of the ECCB organized savings and investment courses, which have attracted over 3,000 participants in the ECCU countries. Marie Richards, Gracelyn Garrick, and Merlin Alvis will all receive free eye care services, complements 3 businesses here. The trio were the latest winners in the Eye Focus Diabetes Month of activities held in collaboration with Digicel and Careers Hazels. At today's handing over ceremony, iFocus Incorporated Office Manager Nika Anderson said the activity is part of the company's mandate to provide good quality eye care service to Vincentians. Digicel's country manager Sean Latty spoke of his personal experience in wearing glasses and congratulated the recipients.
Myself, I'm aware of glasses, and I do know the expense and the cost that goes into just testing your eyes and also getting glasses. So when we were asked, we were quite happy to come on board. We're very elated that we could actually give one of these lovely young ladies a birthday and a Christmas present all in one, and the other 2 young ladies a Christmas present. So I encourage you to take care of your glasses and also take care of your eyes and ensure that you still get them tested.
Here are the three winners as they thank the various entities for the initiative.
Last Friday was my birthday, and when I came at the World Diabetes Day and the screening of the eye, I said I take hold of the opportunity because I can't afford the glasses. So I didn't start that I came. And then it has worked out for me. I asked the Lord to take it from there, and here I am today, very happy and elated. Thanks again to iFocus, Digicel and Craze. I will be getting my eyes test, and I will be wearing the brown glasses. I'm so happy, can't explain myself. When I get the news, I scream. First thing I say, thank God. And thanks again, iFocus, Digicel. And this opportunity to tell you, thanks very much, is a big gift for me.
Internationally renowned Vincentian music composer and arranger Frankie McIntosh was honored on Friday evening during the local leg of the Naniki Caribbean Jazz Safari concert. Friday's concert at the KAHLIL Tennis Center was the fourth and final stop of the tour this year. SVG's concert brings the curtains down on what has been referred to as a thrilling Caribbean musical ride that began in Barbados in January, then went on to Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada. McIntosh told members of the media that he's pleased to have received the award, especially in his homeland, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
I think we need to find a term for, instead of Caribbean jazz, find a different term for the music, because the music has its own identity. If you listen to like Ralph Robinson, Clive Alexander from Trinidad, you listen to Rodney Edwards of Antigua, Luther Francois, there's a certain style which is jazz influence, but it's still distinctly Caribbean. I think that's all the way I fit in. So, of course, I appreciate any award that's especially if it's in St. Vincent.
In addition to having bachelor's and master's degrees in music from Brooklyn College and New York University respectively, the maestro has received several citations and honors from various organizations and record companies for his contribution to Calypso. He has also won the Arranger of the Year award at the 1990 Caribbean Grammy Awards.